All right, what's up, guys? OJ here. Today we've got the reviews for Astro Bot on the PlayStation 5, and things are looking very interesting overall when it comes to the scores, when it comes to this game compared to some of the 3D greats, and the game of the year discussion as well, because Astro Bot has cemented its spot, in my opinion, in those discussions as a strong contender for game of the year based off of what we're seeing here. So far the reviews are coming in, but as of the time that I'm recording this video, there's around 58 reviews. It's 100% positive. And I do want to just add in here, as I was editing, guys, the reviews are actually still coming in, and it actually went up to a 94. So yeah, it's even better overall, but the reviews pretty much all say the same thing in terms of how awesome the game is. So expect it to stay right around that average. It could go below, could go a bit higher. It's kind of fluctuating, but still, regardless, it's a Metacritic must buy, and one of the few major console release Metacritic must buy 90 plus rated games for this year. We don't have a lot. Essentially Final Fantasy 7, Tekken 8, and I think Astro Bot. There might be another one or two, but essentially that's it. So I mean, this is going to be pretty interesting overall when it comes down to it. But let's get into what exactly makes Astro Bot so good and so fun. Many are saying the best platformer they've played in the last decade. So there are a plethora of 10 out of 10 scores, and I do want to go over what they have to say about it. So CG Magazine 10 out of 10 said Astro Bot is creative, inventive, insanely fun, and a true love letter to the legacy of PlayStation. Comicbook.com gave it a 10 out of 10, saying despite having high expectations for Astro Bot, Team Asobi still found a way to surpass all of my hopes. This isn't just one of the best games of 2024, it's one of the best platformers that I have played in the last decade. Those who have a long attachment to PlayStation or just a simple love for games of this genre cannot let Astro Bot pass them by. Next up, Game Liner 10 out of 10 says Astro Bot is a must-play game that brilliantly showcases the PlayStation 5's capabilities, especially the DualSense controller, with fun gameplay and hidden Easter eggs. It's a fantastic experience for all ages. Astro finally gets its spotlight it deserves, and the anticipation for future DLC and sequels is high. Esports 10 out of 10 says across the 10 to 15 hours of Astro Bot, I gratefully lapped up. I had an immovable grin on my face. I smiled and laughed unironically from start to finish. Astro Bot is ridiculously fun and makes gaming fun. GameSpew 10 out of 10. To play Astro Bot is to love Astro Bot. It's as simple as that. It's a heartwarming and flawless experience and a 3D platforming masterpiece. 10 out of 10 from God is a Geek. Astro Bot is a love letter to video games that sets a new standard in 3D platforming with its ridiculously creative stages and gorgeous visuals. 10 out of 10 from GG Retcon. If, like me, you've been waiting for Nintendo to deliver a new 3D Mario game for the best part of a decade, look no further. Team Asobi has done it themselves. For those who own a PlayStation, consider Astro Bot an essential purchase. 10 out of 10 from Player 2. Few studios are as well named as Asobi. They have put the play back in PlayStation. Astro Bot is simply an exceptional example of a genre that almost everyone but Nintendo treats like yesterday's news. Live service shooters are dead, long-lived platforms. I do want to comment on that because Sony just released Concord not too long ago, and they're already shutting that game down. It's already done. But with a single player game where you have offline play, maybe there's the chance for multiplayer and a sequel, but when you actually have a normal game, it can last for forever. You don't have to worry about always online and updates and all that. So I 100% agree with what Player 2 has to say here. These live service shooters, these always online, these loot boxing things, let's just kick back and actually play a great single player experience, which should be part of the package in pretty much every single game. I don't care what anybody says here. So love what they had to say there from Player 2. Next up is from Push Square. They gave it a 10 out of 10 and said Astro Bot is a stunning 3D platformer and easily among the best games in PS5's library. It fully delivers on the promise of Astro's Playroom, building on the rock-solid core of tight controls and inventive gameplay and turning everything up to 11. With tons to see and do, almost endless fresh ideas, innovative use of the DualSense features, and a truly charming presentation, it's a confident and cohesive experience that players of all ages will love. To top it all off, it's a perfect game to celebrate PlayStation's 30th anniversary, reflecting on the myriad series that made the platform what it is today. All right, good stuff there, all the cameos and all that, of course. Next up, Shaq News, 10 out of 10. Astro Bot is a charming and cheeky nod to a lot of PlayStation history and a powerful demonstration of PS5 hardware, but more than anything, it's just a ridiculously good game. 10 out of 10 from The Gamer. You tend to start writing lines in your head when compiling a review, and the one that stuck with me early was to call Astro Bot the best platformer since Super Mario Odyssey. Then I played a little more and started to think maybe it's better. So you got some people even saying it's a little bit better overall, which I can absolutely see that with some of the different stuff that it's done, or at least some of the stuff that I'm reading overall. Twinfinite, 10 out of 10, and says it's a playful personality and incredible inventive design. Astro Bot reminds me a lot of Mario Odyssey. It truly does sit alongside the best platformers of all time, providing some moments of pure magic and joy. Considering how smart and unexpected much of Astro Bot is, the possibilities for future adventures are endless. Next up, 10 out of 10 from VGC. Astro Bot isn't simply an enjoyable platformer with some nostalgia tying it together. It's a generationally impressive entry in the genre that understands PlayStation at an atomic level. The sheer level of joy the game produces makes it impossible to compare it to anything other than Mario's best adventure. Astro is no longer a vector through which reference PlayStation icons. He is a PlayStation icon. Great review from VGC. Next up is ZTGD, and they gave it a 10 out of 10, saying, I cannot stress how much is packed in this. I saw cameos I never expected. The nostalgia overload is almost too much at times. I haven't had this much fun with the game in a long time, and even though I have rolled the credits, I'm going back to 100% this. Astro's Playroom was my first platinum trophy. Astro Bot will be my second. This game brings me more joy than I expected, and will be at the top of my favorite games of the year. And I love the fact that he says that, hey, I'm going to go back to actually 100% it. This was my first with the Astro Bot game, and the second with that one. He's not just collecting trophies just to collect them. It's actually because he's passionate about playing the game, and I think that sometimes people lose the point of them, or at least developers, people out there, you're trying to play all these games to collect these trophies that are meaningless to you. Collect them and 100% what you truly love and are passionate about, and that's when the achievements in game or trophies or whatever the case becomes super fun, when the game's actually really good and not just haphazardly slapped in there because they have to do it. So love that from ZTGD. Next up, let's get into the 9 out of 10 scores, guys, because there was a lot of 10s. I went over so many of them. There's a few more that I didn't go over, but there's a lot of 10s. Now, the 9 out of 10 scores, we're going to start off with COG Connected with a 9.5 out of 10, saying Astro Bot is a delightful adventure that blends original ideas with a solid platforming foundation, delivering an experience that has long been missing from the PlayStation Studios catalog. Each level introduces something new, which exhibits the creativity of the talented development team. While the game is a charming, stress-free journey, it also offers optional levels for those seeking a greater test. Astro Bot isn't just a must-play for genre fans, it fills a significant gap in Sony's lineup. Being a strong contender for Game of the Year, this is a must-have for every PlayStation owner. All right, good stuff. Next up is from True Gaming. They gave it a 9.5 out of 10, saying it has everything that makes a platformer fun, from great level design and stunning worlds to a well-crafted gameplay system and exciting boss fights. It is perhaps the best platformer Sony has ever made. All right, very high praise there, considering Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper and the history that Sony has. Next up, 9.5 from Vandal, and they said Astro Bot is what deserves to be called a video game and a beautiful homage to the history of PlayStation. It's full of creativity and design to surprise the player and let them have fun. A must-have for PlayStation 5 owners. And I love the fact that, yes, it's about fun, not about the cinematics and not about all that, but about fun overall. So very good. Next up is a 9.4 from Power Unlimited, and they said Astro Bot is everything you could wish for from the Playroom demo and so much more. With unparalleled style and immense love, Asobi delivers one of the best platformers in years, full of fantastic details, nods, and music. Next up, 9.3 from games.ch. Astro Bot is just one of the best platformers of recent years. The high variety of gameplay and setting, precise controls, great boss fights, and several wonderful references to famous PlayStation video games. The game is a need to play for any genre fan with a PlayStation 5. Okay, now we've got the lower 90s here, guys. Checkpoint Gaming, they gave it a 9 out of 10, saying Astro Bot is not just another platformer, it's a vibrant celebration of PlayStation's storied history and a triumphant reintroduction to its newest mascot. Every world offers compelling gameplay that is elevated to the next level by the innovative use of the DualSense controller, and it's a heartwarming nod to the last 30 years of PlayStation, ensure that the experience is charmingly nostalgic while still feeling refreshingly original. Astro Bot is whimsical, inventive, and just feels downright fun to play. While Astro Bot's previous outings were impressive, this latest adventure solidifies him as a beloved character in his own right. They've truly done it. PlayStation has finally found the mascot it's always wanted. 9 out of 10 from Destructoid. Astro Bot on PlayStation 5 feels like accumulation of every Team Asobi project before it. Given how many mascots Sony has lost over the years, this game's constant cameos certainly reminded me of that. I'm completely on board with them adopting the little bot as their new face. They've earned it. Next up, Digital Trends, 9 out of 10. 4 years ago, Sony introduced the tagline, "Play has no limits," to advertise the PlayStation 5. Astro Bot is the first PlayStation exclusive since then that truly believes in that mission statement. That's hilarious. 9 out of 10 from Game Reactor UK. Astro Bot is an exceptionally successful game in its own right, injecting pure happiness into your body over its 10 to 15 hours. It's exactly what Sony's console needs right now, with its brightly colored exterior, sharp controls, and simple yet varied gameplay. The course of the stars is set, and I'm sure Astro will make it to the top. GameSpot, 9 out of 10. The simply titled Astro Bot is meant to be the cute robot's first significant foray into video games following a 2018 VR exclusive, but was stuck in its VR-only bubble, and 2020 pack-in tech demo that hinted at more to come. 9 out of 10 from GameSpot. The simply titled Astro Bot is meant to be the cute robot's first significant foray into video games following a 2018 VR exclusive that earned praise but was stuck in the headset-only bubble, and a 2020 pack-in tech demo that hinted at more to come. The beauty of the game, as suggested by its title, is that even players returning for their third Astro adventure will find hours upon hours of new experiences, collectively and magnificently presented as a parade of joyous sights, sounds, and adventures. This is a grand reopening for Astro Bot, and it surely marks the start of what is destined to be a beloved series shooting for the moon, to the moon and beyond for Astro Bot. Next up, Gaming Trend, 9 out of 10. It said Astro Bot captures all of the strong points of the brand new puppy. It's cute, playful, and doggedly loyal to the PlayStation history. While it still has room to grow into its legs and sharpen its teeth, most missteps are easily forgiven. I mean, just look at it. Hardcore Gamer, 9 out of 10. Team Asobi has yet again cracked the code of delivering an experience that's fun, rewarding, and nostalgic all the same. With nostalgic callbacks, vibrant worlds, and welcoming gameplay, there's truly something for everyone in Astro Bot. PC Mag gave it a 9 out of 10, saying Astro Bot breaks from its tech demo roots to become a wildly entertaining, modern 3D platformer that stands out as a top PlayStation title. IGN, 9 out of 10, saying Astro Bot made me smile from beginning to end, a collection of endlessly inventive levels and fantastically fun abilities. It delivers joy in spades, never once becoming even remotely dull or repetitive, and while you don't need a long history with Sony systems to enjoy it, it is especially a delight for those with a piece of PlayStation in their heart, as a treasure trove full of playable nostalgia awaits, taking the PS5 marketing mantra that play has no limits more seriously than you'd expect. Team Asobi has crafted a mascot platformer that goes near enough toe-to-toe with Nintendo's best efforts and about as high as a compliment as you can give it. So there are a number of 8 out of 10 scores as well. I'm going to start off with XGN. They gave it an 8.5 out of 10 and said, if you love PlayStation and its franchises, you will absolutely love this game. The levels are unique and you will have a smile smile on your face the entire game. What a brilliant experience. CD Action gave it an 8 out of 10, saying Astro Bot is an incredibly charming 3D platformer that fell just short of being perfect. What stood in its way were the previous installments, which set the bar high and made the latest game feel not fresh enough in comparison. However, my overall experience with it was simply fantastic. Gamer.nl gave it an 8 out of 10. Astro Bot is exceptionally creatively designed with a few special PlayStation worlds as absolute highlights. However, in terms of platforming, the game does little out of the ordinary. Gamer.no gave it an 8 out of 10. Astro Bot is incredibly charming and deeply nostalgic, all while delivering creativity on par with some of the best Nintendo has to offer. There are a few minor hiccups along the way, but beneath it all, there's an undeniable playfulness that will resonate with both new and old PlayStation fans alike. Now, this is the lowest score for Astro Bot, and it's from Gamers RD. They gave it a 7.8 out of 10, saying Astro Bot is what we needed after playing Astro's Playroom for a long time. The student surpasses the teacher, but it is difficult to tell the difference between both games. This is a space adventure full of surprises, challenges, and immersion that is only possible with the DualSense controller. This game is essentially a thank you letter to PlayStation fans. So that's the overall roundup, guys. What do you think? I feel that Astro Bot is obviously a very cool 3D platformer in a genre when it comes to 3D platformers from major developers we just don't get very often outside of Nintendo. Heck, even in this generation, we've seen one big 3D Mario new platformer. The rest have been re-releases overall, and we don't really see a lot of other developers taking that chance. So I do think that it's pretty cool that Team Asobi was able to craft this really good love letter to the classic PlayStation games with all the different cameos, in addition to the game just being awesome. Tight controls, fun levels, great graphics, cool DualSense, play has no limits, all of that stuff. I guess before you're looking at it like the cinematics and all that, that's play, but there's definitely limited when you come down to it. But with Astro Bot, there's so many different things that make it unique and different. You really feel like there is that play has no limits with that, which that came up a number of times in these reviews. So I'm picking up Astro Bot myself. Absolutely one of the Game of the Year contenders. I definitely think it's cemented its spot based off of these reviews here. But what do you guys think overall about Astro Bot reviews? Are you planning on picking up the game? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other videos right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.